Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
We are from the third group, which consists of 6 members. They are Arfiani Miladia, Nur Hilalia, Muhammad Nurul Multazam, Iin Sulastri Ode Ami, Reski Amalia Harming, and Amelia Rapi Dengdara. So today we will talk about the cohesion and coherence of the editorials in the Jakarta Post. So to shorten the time, let's invite our first speaker, Ms. Arfiani Miladia. Time and screen are yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I will explain about the article, the cohesion and coherence, the editorials in Jakarta Post. Next slide, please. Okay. Concept of discourse involves 3 dimensions that are as a language use, communication of belief, human cognition, and interaction in social situation. As a language use, discourse consists of 2 elements, cohesion and coherence. Next slide, please. The research has been intended to find cohesion and coherence, device of editorial in Jakarta Post. In this research, substantive data where text consists of cohesion and coherence device. The data was analyzed using identity method. Next slide, please. Result of analysis show that editorials in Jakarta Post May 2011 contain all kinds of cohesion and coherence device. The editorial contains grammatical cohesion, reference ellipse, substitution, conjunction, and lexical cohesion, reiteration, and collocation. Coherence device, repetition, personal reference, transition are also contained in the data. Next slide, please. Introduction. Language is a system of arbitrary vocal symbols used for human communication. All of symbolic phenom which occur in the universe are described the language. Busman 2006, 6027 defines that language is a vehicle for the expression or changes of thought, concept, knowledge, and information, as well as the fixing and transmission of experience and knowledge. Next slide, please. There are 2 terms that are very fundamental in studies, the relation among texts within the other texts that are cohesion and coherence. Cohesion is the use of language form to indicate semantic relation between elements in discourse. According to Van Dijk, 1997, page 9, coherence is how the meaning of sentence in a discourse held together. It is the semantic structure. Not its formal meaning, which creates coherence. The second is coherence is grammatical and semantic interconnections between sentences that form text. Busman 1998 say that cohesion refers to various linguistic means, grammatical, lexical, and phonological, by which sentences stick together and are linked into large units of paragraph or stanzas or chapter. There are 2 main types of cohesion: grammatical, referring to structure, content and lexical reference to the language context of the piece. Next slide. Okay, I think that's all my presentation. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you for Ma'am Arfiani Miladia. A really nice presentation of you. So to continue the presentation, let's invite our next speaker, Ms. Nir Hilalia. Time and screen are yours.
Okay, thanks for the chance that has given to me. And now I will continue the material about the cohesion and coherence of the editorials in the Jakarta Post. Next slide. This is the part of methodology in this research, the object of the research. The research observed cohesion and coherence of the editorial in the Jakarta Post, May 2011 edition as the object of the research. To identify and analyze the object of a research, the research determined the research type. According to Sudaryanto in 1986, said that there are two types of research, namely quantitative research and qualitative research. Quantitative research is a research includes any type of research based on the percentage, average, square, and other statistical computation. Qualitative research is a research procedure that results in descriptive data in written and spoken form in the language of the community. In this research, it fully uses the qualitative research. Next slide. The observing method, the research uses observing method to gather data from 28 editorial articles of the Jakarta Post May edition in researching the pattern and function of cohesion and coherence of the research object. Sudaryanto in 1993 states there are two methods of gathering data in linguistic research. There are observing method and interviewing method. Next slide. According to Haugen 1971 in Sudaryanto, there are three primary methods to analyze the data. There are identifying method, distributional method, and introspective method. The first one is the research use identity method, and then after that, analyzing the data, the research finding was displayed through informal method to display the data. Next slide. Okay, I think that's all. I give it back to moderator.
Okay, thank you for the really nice presentation of the previous presenter. To continue the presentation, let's invite next speaker, Mr. Muhammad Nurul Multazam. Time and screen are yours.
Okay, thank you for the moderator. I will tell about the discussion of this coherence and cohesion of editorial Jakarta Post in 2011. What is to discuss in this section? The first one is, what is cohesion? The cohesion is part by two parts. The first one is grammatical cohesion, and the second one in substitution. Cohesion is a discourse mean in discourse means solidity form which structurally establish syntactical tie. Mulyono in 1988, in Mulyana in 2000, assert that a good and solid discourse occurs from cohesive sentence. So cohesion refers to various linguistic means, grammatical, lexical, and phonological, by which sentences stick together and are linked into larger units of paragraph or stanzas or chapters. Cohesion needs to be achieved in a sentence, within a paragraph, and across paragraph for a text to make sense. Example of the grammatical question. Tom left home. Realized he had forgotten his homework. In this sentence, no cohesive device. And the next is, Tom left home early in the morning. Later that day, he realized he had forgotten his homework. This one with cohesion, with adverbials. Grammatical cohesion. The grammatical cohesion, the first one is reference. The specific nature of information that is signaled for retrieval based on place of reference can be divided into endopora, that is textual, and exoporic, that is situational. Reference by Halliday and Hassan in 1976. The next is personal and demonstrative reference. Personal reference function in the speech situation through the category of person. Halliday and Hassan say it in 1976. Demonstrative reference reference by means of location on a scale of proximity. Halliday say it in 1976. Example of personal reference. Personal reference in the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition is it, we, and our. The example of demonstrative reference in editorials of Jakarta Post May 2011 edition is they, apostrophe, this, those, here, and there. The next one is substitution. Substitution is a relation between linguistic items such as a word of phrase or in the other word. It is a relation on lexicogrammatical level, the level of grammar and vocabulary of linguistic form. It is also usually relation in the wording rather than in the meaning. The criterion is the grammar function of substitution item. In English, the substitution may function as a noun, as a verb, or as a clause. Then Halliday and Hassan divided three types of substitution, namely nominal, verbal, and clausal. The elements of nominal substitution are once, and same. The substitution once always function as a head of nominal group and can be substituted only for an item which is itself head of nominal group. Nominal substitution found in editorial of Jakarta Post May 2011 edition is 1. The nominal substitution of one function as a head of nominal group. There are three environments in which clausal substitution take place: report, condition, and modality. The clausal substitution found in editorial of Jakarta Post May 2011 edition, not which substitutes much of the anger has not been vented at Yudhoyono. Not is a substitution of conditional clauses. It is concluded that the clausal substitution occur on the entire clause and the proposite it is a clause. The clausal substitution is anaphoric because the presupposition are in present tense. Okay, that's all for my presentation. Give it back to moderator. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Mr. Muhammad Nurul Murtazam for the nice presentation of you. So to continue the presentation, let's invite the next speaker, Ms. Iin Sulastri Odiami. Time and screen are yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I will explain about ellipses and conjunctions. Next slide, please. Okay. Ellipsis. The essential characteristic of ellipsis is something that is present in the selection of underlying options that omitted in the structure. Nominal ellipsis means the ellipsis within the nominal group or the common noun that may be omitted and the function of head taken on by one of other elements. Nominal ellipses found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition are those some, the other, most, and largest. Those are a specific deictic which function as a head. Some is a non-specific deictic and function as a head. The other is a post-deictic and elements. Next. Verbal ellipsis is an elliptical verbal group presupposes one or more words from a previous verbal group. Verbal ellipses consist of two types that are lexical and operator ellipses. In the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition, the words can and will are lexical ellipses. They are the types of ellipses in which the lexical verb is missing from the verbal group. The word accepted is an operator ellipsis because it involves only the omission of operators. All of the verbal ellipses are anaphoric because their presuppositions are in the preceding sentence. Next slide, please. Conjunction. Conjunction is rather different in nature of the other cohesive relation. Conjunctive elements are cohesive not in themselves but indirectly by virtue of their specific meanings. They are not primarily devices for reaching out into the preceding text, but they express certain meaning which presupposes the presence of the other components in the discourse. You can enter elaborations means one clause that expand other by elaborating on it, by restating in other words, specifying in greater detail, counting or exemplifying by Halliday, 1985. Elaboration conjunction consists of two kinds. There are opposition and clarification. Opposition elaboration other words or phrases or clauses by expository or exemplification. There are some elaboration in the editorial of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. There, the word that is an opposition that is expository and, for example, is an exemplification. Clarification elaborates other word or phrases or clauses by reinstated of summarize them. The word rather is a kind of clarification which is corrective and in particular is the same, but the word is particularizing. Next slide. Okay, extension means one clause expand another by extending by, beyond it by adding some new element, giving an exception to it, of offering an alternative by Halliday in 1985. Extension involves addition at adversative and variation. There are some extension in the editorial of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. The conjunction or nor is an addition because the word presupposes additional item, but is in conjunction which relates to construct sentence. So the word is adversative. The word except is a variation extension conjunction. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for me. From me, back to moderator.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I will explain about lexical cohesion. Next slide, please. Before I explain further about lexical cohesion, first of all, I would like to give a little bit explanation about which place the lexical cohesion discussed in this paper. So as explained, as presented from the previous presenter, which explained about the cohesion devices, which explain cohesion devices that classify into two, grammatical cohesion and lexical cohesion. And grammatical cohesion is already explained by the previous presenter, that consists of four point: the portion reference, substitution, ellipsis, and conjunction. So I'm, as the next speaker, I will talk about the next or the second cohesion devices, that is lexical cohesion, that consists of two categories, that they are reiteration and collocation. Next slide, please. So the first category of lexical cohesion is reiteration. So reiteration involving four categories. The first one is the repetition, the second, the use of general word, and the third, the use of synonyms or near synonym. And the last one is superordinate. So the first one is the repetition. The repetition is the direct form of lexical cohesion, like repeated one word in another sentence to make it relate into a previous sentence. And then the second one is the use of general word to correspond the major classes of lexical items. And then the use of synonyms or near synonyms, which means the use of word which has the same meaning. And then the last one is superordinate. Superordinate, which means the use of word in upper class itself, like we will use the word to relate into the upper class of meaning of the word. So to understand easier, let's see the example that found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post edition. So the repetition in the Jakarta Post, it's found that there are two kinds of repetition. The first one is hostage, and the second one is peace. And then the general word found is the good things and one thing. So this is the general word to major classes of lexical item, and it is very commonly used with lexical cohesive force. So this is general word to corresponding to major classes. And next slide, please. And then synonym or near synonym. So synonym that found in the Jakarta Post, the first one is grave, that refers back to corrupt. And then the second one is firms, which refers back to company. And disappearance, which refers back to missing. And then subordinate is bribery, that refers to criminalizations. This is the first example that found in the subordinate. So bribery refers back to criminalization, which is more general or upper class word from bribery. And then the second one is trucks, that refers to vehicles. So the vehicles here is the superordinate word from trucks, because it is more general, and also the upper class word from trucks. So truck is the part of the vehicles. So it means vehicle is the upper class word of the trucks itself. The next slide, please. So the second types or the second category from the lexical cohesion is collocation. So collocation is the word that has three categories to, how to say, to bond in the strong collocation. The first one is some are based wholly on the meaning or the item. The second one is some are based on the range, and the third one some are in the strictest sense. Sorry, strictest sense. See Holiday and Hassan, 1979. So to bond the word into the strong collocation, there are three categories that must fulfill. So those are, this is the bad whole, how to say, has the same meaning or item, has same range and same spurious sense. So to make us easier in understanding, let's see the example that found in the editorial of Jakarta Post. The first one is the word injuries is a strong collocation with the word violence. And then the second one is chains of collocation are investors, exporter, and importer. So the last example is really, how to say, show us the bond collocation, the strong collocational bond, which is investor, exporter, and importer. That has, how to say, almost same meaning or item or some same storyteller's sense. Next slide, please. Okay. Thank you for your nice attention. And to continue the presentation, let me invite the next speaker, Ms. Amelia Rapidengdara. Time and screen are yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Reski, for the chance. And now it's my turn to explain about coherence in the editorials of the Jakarta Post. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. In general, coherence is the grammatical and semantic interconnectedness between sentences that form a text. The Angelo asserts that there are some techniques to achieve coherence in a paragraph. They are repetition of keywords of phrases, transitions, and pronoun reference. The details of the three types of coherence have explained in the description of grammatical and lexical cohesion devices. In coherence aspect, the three types are accepted as semantic items, interconnected with the text that have been the context of the coherence sign. Here are some examples of application from repetition of keywords of phrases, transition, and pronoun reference in text. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. First is repetition. Repetition in coherence structurally has explained in lexical cohesion. There are some repetitions in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. As you can see in the example, repetition hostage in the example tries to create a wholeness of the discourse. The word hostage in the topic sentence shows that the discourse is talking about hostage. The following sentence uses the key word to linkage the message that the discourse is talking about. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Next is transition. Transition consists of conjunction as explained in the grammatical cohesion. There are some transition in the editorials of the Jakarta Post in May 2011 edition. The transition signal, therefore, as you can see in the example, therefore builds a wholeness or coherency among sentences in a text. It is concluded that transitions are considered as spatial vocabulary words that spread out of the paragraph or text. Transition makes the movement between sentences in paragraph smooth. Okay, next slide. Pronouns reference. Pronoun in the coherence is the same with the explanation of it in reference as the part of grammatical cohesion. There are some pronouns in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition as coherence devices. As we can see in the example, the use of the pronoun they in is to hang the meaning of one sentence to the other in the discourse. By the pronoun, the reader will understand that every sentence in the discourse is a building of an understanding. The description concludes that pronoun is way to achieve coherence of a discourse. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Next is conclusion. This paper has examined the cohesion and coherence aspects of the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. From the discussion, the cohesion of the editorials of in the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition consists of grammatical and lexical cohesion. The grammatical cohesion involves a reference, substitution, ellipsis, and conjunction. The lexical cohesion involves reiteration and collocation. Coherence of the editorials in the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition consists of repetition, transition, and pronouns reference. Repetition is keywords or phrases that are very important to the main idea in the paragraph or text that hang the meaning of a discourse. Transition considered as special vocabulary words that spread out of the paragraph or text. Pronoun reference is to hang the meaning of the sentence to the other in the discourse. The paper has also created description of the ambiguity between cohesion and coherence aspects and finally concludes that there is a relationship between cohesion with coherence. Coherence is separate from grammatical and lexical cohesion and specifically signifies the semantic meaning of the structure of cohesion. Cohesion and coherence are closely related and support each other. Cohesion refers to linkage of forms, while coherence refers to linkage of meaning. The relation can be seen from the devices of the three items, which is repetition, transition, and personal reference, are the devices of grammatical and lexical cohesion. The fundamental difference between them is that cohesion is syntactical aspect and coherence is semantically aspect. The results of the study of cohesion and coherence of the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition provide practical and theoretical information about discourse analysis. Practically, the research explains about cohesion and coherence devices that are very essential in writing process. Theoretically, research of the discourse is still very rare. It is caused by many reasons. The paper at least can be used as a map in understanding the dimension and limitation study of discourse. Okay, and thank you so much. Back to Ms. Reski Amalia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Amelia Rafidengdara. Really nice presentation of you. So it is the end of our presentation from the third group, which talk about the cohesion and coherence in the editorial of the Jakarta Post. So thank you so much for your nice attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Wabarakatuh.